So I was watching something last night on motorcycle stuff. They had like a TL1000 in there. You know, Suzuki TL1000. I think first year was 97, or 97 was the first year. And TL1000S, I believe, was 97. And I was remembering back, I was at Summit Point in West Virginia there for road race weekend there. And went out for open practice, open expert practice. And I'm out there riding around, you know, just scrubbing tires in and making sure my bike's all right, suspension set up and all that stuff. So I'm not really booking so much. So I do probably 3 or 4 laps. And I come across 2 guys, and they're pretty fast. So they're kind of holding me up a little bit though. So I follow them around because there's no real good place to pass them there. I go down through all the turns and come up to turn 9, and I was like, man, I don't know. I might try and pass them up the hill here. Between turn 9 and turn 10, there's a little bit of a straightaway with like a little right-hand kink to it going up a hill. And we come out of turn 9, and they take off pretty good. You know, they got some poop to them. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to try and pass them here. I'll wait. So we get up on turn 10, and we come out of there, and those 2 guys are on the far out-hand side of turn 10, and we all come out of 10, and it's like 1, 2, and there's like one really, first guy's a little bit towards the center, second guy's a little bit back here to the left, and I come out on the right here. So I start accelerating out, and I can remember I came up to the first guy, and I'm just motoring him. I'm pulling away from him. I kind of does a double take. He's like going down, and he's like looks over, and then he looks over again, and I'm like right past him. And then I come up to the second guy, and same thing. He's hunched over, and he looks over, looks back again, and he looks over, doing a double take. So I motor past him. And went on down, did my practice, got a good practice in, got my times back up where they should be, where them 2 guys were holding me up. And I go back to the pits and all that, take my leathers off, and I'm sitting there having a cold tea and a cigarette. And these 2 guys come walking up, and they're looking at the bike. And before I say anything, the guy's like, we're the 2 guys that were on the TL1000 Suzukis. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So he's like, man, I didn't know them Buells were that fast. He said, I thought they only made like 70 horsepower. I'm like, yeah, they do. So he's like, well, what'd you do to that thing to be able to pass us like that? Nothing, piping a jet kit and increase the rev limiter on it. And he just kind of they kind of look at each other and go, oh, sure. So that was on a Buell I was riding that I had built. And fun bike. Wasn't anywhere near stock, other than it was a 1200. I think I used 883 head castings and put bigger seats in there. Basically built the combustion chamber a little bit differently. Or no, I didn't. 883 heads, I'd cut a 20-degree shelf in the head to use angle top pistons with it. And, 600 something lift cams. I can't remember what N9s were. N9 cams, but 600, 610, 630, whatever they were. Titanium valves, copper beryllium valve seats, back cut 5-speed transmission. lightened and balanced cranked, Carrillo rods, on and on. Mikuni 42 carb. I'd rev that thing to about 7,300. It's good on that thing. 72, 73. Anything over that and flywheels start doing this, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. So that was a lot of fun on that bike, especially doing stuff like that. Because guys automatically think, man, that's a damn Harley. That thing's slow. Or excuse me, Buell. That being said, it did take a lot of work to get it to where it didn't feel like it was rolling on marbles. Had a lot of chassis problems to begin with that I couldn't get out with just suspension setup. You know, I tried different shocks and different valving, different compression rates on the forks and shock and different springs and all kinds of crap. And it always felt kind of like I wasn't getting any feedback from the front end. It just felt weird, not planted. And then it was suggested to me that I measure the frame geometry. So I did. Didn't have enough trail. So it always felt kind of vague in the front end. So I ended up pulling the triple trees off and making a set of offset triple trees where I could change the offset, change the trail on it. I think I had to move I think where I ended up was I actually moved the offset for the triple trees back a ½ inch. I think that's what it was. I'd have to look and see, but I'm pretty sure it was a ½ inch back on the offset. But a lot of fun there. Good times, good times. Now, let me clear this. I wasn't the fastest guy on the track by far, but I like fiddling with the damn bike to do whatever I could do. Anyway, that's TL1000 in Buell. And later on, I bought a TL1000 years later, kind of a deal I couldn't pass up, where somebody had one for sale that they had wrecked. And, good title. They had never turned it on for insurance or whatever, but where the fairing stay, headlight, whatever, the little tab on the front, aluminum frame, but the little tab on the front of the frame, they had broken it off. And all I did was weld it back up and remachine it so I could put the fairing and headlight and all that crap back on there. But, neat bike, other than the frames cracking on them back where that goofy suspension setup was in the rear there. Anyway, that's enough about that. It's Labor Day. Everybody's working today. Son's working. Wife's had work too. So, be waiting on the ignition system for this Sportster here, Dyna 2000i, instead of this Ultima piece of crap. But that's enough about that. You guys have a great damn Labor Day weekend. I hope you did. Have a great week coming up.